Hello everyone, and welcome to the next installment of Deceptive Deception and Countermeasures in the Xiangqi opening. This is based on a free ebook that can be found on the World Xiangqi Federation website. In the original book, this was part 9, and in the free ebook given, this was the 5th example. So without further ado, let us continue. Same direction cannons, file chariot again, and another deferred chariot variation. In the previous board, which was quite a long one, in the previous video, black played h2 plus 3. Now all these moves so far are considered to be orthodox. And red will continue to develop as horse as h8 plus 7 for both proper horses to consolidate the central file, and black would do likewise. And p7 plus 1 was played. So far so good. Now in this board, because black still hadn't developed his left chariot, black would play c2 plus 4 for the pawn ranked cannon. The pawn ranked cannon is quite a powerful entity and quite a commonly used tactical combination in Xiangqi. There are many uses for this cannon at this point in time. It can play c2 equals to 3 to inhibit the development of this horse, or c2 equals to 7 to capture the pawn and apply pressure on the elephant, and also develop the right red horse. And this would be one of the most important variations in this opening system. Now in this board, red chose to play h7 plus 6 for the for the riverbank horse. Now this is one of the older ways of playing this position. One of the main ideas behind this move was that red would now be prepared to play p7 plus 1, whereby the piece that was blocking the red horse would be removed, and red could play h6 minus 8 to capture the black cannon. However, in the past 2 years, it was shown that red would be better off playing h7 plus 8. This would prevent the black chariot from being developed and slow the development of black's right flank as a whole. Now, however, in the past, h7 plus 6 was played, and it could stir up several complicated situations, for which we shall see. So since h7 plus 6 was played and red was prepared to play p3 plus 1, black would usually counter with c2 equals to 7. Now with c2 equals to 7, as mentioned earlier, black would now target the red elephant, and thus the red chariot cannot go anywhere without the loss of the elephant. So either the elephant has to move, or the black cannon has to be dislodged. Now in the example, red continued to play c8 equals to 7 to attack the horse because he was now prepared to advance the pawn. Another orthodox and steadfast option would be to play r9 equals to 8. And this will be quite a sticky and complicated situation. Red will still have a slight advantage. Now if r9 plus 8 were played, r1 equals to 2 would also be a possible variation. Now if red tried to form a blockade, this would be an issue, because since the horse had moved away, the chariot would be unprotected. So anyways, it would lead to very complicated situations. So back to the board, red chose to attack with c8 equals to 7, and black chose to develop his chariot since there was an open line at this point in time. Red will continue as planned originally. Now h6 plus 7 would be a better move than p7 plus 1, because if p7 plus 1 will play, black would advance his chariot to the red riverbank rank, and black would be prepared to trade horses, and there will be many tactical combinations. Now, one of the characteristics of the same direction cannons is that both colors would have to be very aggressive. So h6+7 was played, and so far the moves that have been played are considered to be orthodox. Now, with h6+7, red was prepared to capture the black cannon and then capture the black horse. So this would be a gain of material for black, which is why black would have to move his cannon away and possibly adopt the sandwich horse defense formation. Red would continue to charge his pawn across the river, and black would advance his chariot to the pawn rank, whereby black would be prepared to play r2 equals to 3 to try to relieve some pressure of this file. And red would now, at this point in time, play e7 plus 9. Now this would be the position of discussion for this board. Now, e7 plus 9 would be quite an awkward looking move, but what would be the intentions behind? This will be revealed in the main line. Now, the black would now be faced with a dilemma. How should he react to this situation? There were two major variations that were discussed. R2 equals to 3 and R9 equals to 8. Now, R2 equals to 3, in the first variation, R2 equals to 3 was played, and black would fall immediately into red's trap, because red would now play R9 equals to 7. Now, moving the elephant away and allowing the chariot to be developed on the 7th file was the main idea behind this move. But why? Black should have played a4 plus 5 at this point in time. Now, if he had made this move to try to capture the pawn, which should look very enticing, red would immediately counter with c7 plus 2. Again, this cannon would also be protected by the elephant. So black would now be put in a dilemma. Why? It would be better for him to play a4 plus 5, but nevertheless, red would now concentrate his cannons on this file and thus gain material. So by the 14th ply, since black had fallen into red's trap, black would lose material, and losing a major piece so early in the game would usually spell trouble. So this would be the trap that red would lay by playing e7 plus 9. So the position of discussion, and in the first variation, r2 equals 3 was played. In the second variation, which is the recommended variation, black could do something that is usually not advocated. He would choose to play r9 equals to 8 to trade chariots. So red would accept trading chariots in the variation 2. It would not be a good idea to play p7 equals to 6, because red would take the opportunity to trade chariots and retreat his horse. Now this is a very nice defensive move, and black would have a very stable formation, because the advisor can now a6 plus 5 can now be played without fear of the cannon attacking the elephant, because the black horse will now be protecting it. So black, comparatively speaking, the efficiency of this this e7 plus 9, c8 equals to 7, and r9 equals to 7 would have greatly decreased. And Red would have to spend a few moves trying to um, try to develop these three pieces, and coupled with the fact that the horse would take another move, or it cannot jump here, or the elephant would be captured. So usually red might have to play e3 plus 1 if need be to develop his horse as a proper horse, but that would leave the central cannon unprotected. So as can be seen, red's formation will now be riddled with bullet holes. So that is why it was advised that red should try to capture the black chariot, and red would take the time to capture the elephant before capturing the red chariot. Now, interesting issue now would be, should red take the central cannon, central pawn, sorry. If it did, red would play c4 equals to 7 for discovered attack on the central cannon, forcing it away. And again, black would capture the red horse, and at this point in time we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 black pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 red pieces. Black would have gained material, and although this cannon was quite menacing, it could not do much at the moment. So black would have more material and the general overall advantage in the ensuing melee. So p7 equals to 7 equals to 6 was suggested, and red should not capture the central pawn. But red would now play c4 equals to 8 to threaten with the double cannons, checkmate. r2 equals to 3 is still not advocated at this point in time, because red could retreat his horse, and now red would be prepared to gain material by capturing the horse, as the chariot was protected by the elephant. So black would have a hard time trying to control the situation. So that is why r2 equals 3 is still not advocated. Instead, black should attempt a checkmate with c4 equals to 8. Now at the moment, c8 plus 7 will not be possible because the horse will be guarding this intersection. So black will sacrifice material, and now black would play c7 equals to 9, threatening to checkmate with c8 plus 7. And at this point in time, to prevent this checkmate, it is advocated that red play h3 plus 2. Now moving the king to safety is not a good idea, because check, and red will lose the chariot that had never even moved in the game. So red would have a huge advantage in the black would have a huge advantage in the ensuing melee. So h3 plus 2 to prevent the double cannons checkmate, and black would play black would capture this red central pawn in the nick of time. And because the chariot was now attacking the central cannon, red had to move his elephant back again. So this would again constitute a waste of 2 moves by red to move the elephant to the edge file and back again. So black would have seized the initiative at this point in time. So black would continue to play a6 plus 5 so that his chariot can now move to the other flank to attack. P7 plus 1 would not be a good idea, because red would pounce on the chance to sacrifice his horse. 6 plus 5 would now be too late. And at this point in time, red would still have a fighting chance, and uh, both colors would still have their scruples, they would have their worries, and black cannot be guaranteed of a big win, etc. So that is why the best move would be to simply develop the advisor and allow the chariot, free the chariot to move to this flank for attack. So uh, capturing the horse would be even worse, because the red chariot would threaten to capture the black chariot. The black chariot cannot move, or it will be a check. So, and red will still have a playable game. So if black moves the cannon to the central file, he will lose his horse, and the threat of the double cannons would thus disappear. So p7 plus 1 will lead to a situation where black would have little control over. So a6 plus 5 would be advocated. Now, at this point in time, black had basically won the game. So if red tried to play r9 equals to 8, black would continue with r5 equals to 8. If black tried to trade cannons with this move, black would simply play the game slowly and surely by capturing the red horse and also consolidating his central file. And black would now move his chariot to attack the red cannon, and thus gain thus threaten to capture the red horse and gain material. Black will still be faster in drawing blood, and as can be seen, the red chariot will still require at least one move to be developed. A5 plus 6 would not be a good idea either, because red will continue to attack. Check. Check. And basically this would be a winning position for black, because black would play r8 equals to 6 for the next move and threaten to go for the double cannons checkmate. Now r8 minus 1 is also another possible move, will be c8 equals to 6, which would be a viable option also. But I personally prefer r8 plus 1 as a simple no-nonsense approach. So back to this position. Once black had moved his advisor to free the chariot, basically it was a done deal if black played correctly. r9 equals to 8, r5 equals to 8. Red cannot play r2 equals to h2 equals to 4 now, because check, and black would now be threatening to checkmate no matter how red responded. Now, r8 equals to 2 would also be a possible option, whereby black will simply capture the red chariot. Red cannot capture the black chariot, or it will be a checkmate. So the only thing that black can do would be to play the cannon or to move the king to safety. But either way, the loss of the chariot would basically mean that black had won the game. So after a5 plus 4, black would capture the red horse, and 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. But this flank was basically empty and very, very vulnerable. Black would gain lost material and command a significantly huge advantage. I ran the position through my computer, and black would now have an advantage of about 550 points at about level 20. So this advantage is basically insurmountable if if black played correctly. So a short recap. Okay, this was the position of discussion, whereby red tried to pull off something with e7 plus 9. However, in the first variation, black fell for it and lost material very quickly. In the second variation, in the second variation, black chose to trade away the chariot, the biggest threat that red would have at the moment. And after trading material, things would go spiral downhill rapidly for red. Black would gain back lost material eventually, and is poised to win the game. So I hope you have enjoyed this short video, and if you like the work that I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.